Testosterone replacement therapy and hair loss. Here's what we know. There is no official study that will be confirming more hair loss on TRT. However, there are many anecdotal reports of guys who are starting with TRT noticing more hair loss.
Yeah, so TRT is picking up in India as well, testosterone replacement therapy. Many patients are taking TRT, and these are the patients who are prone to greater hair loss, and it is further compounded by these people doing powerlifting in the gym, taking whey protein. That's another interview we can do about whey protein later. And then a lot of hair loss happens with people on TRT. It's an accepted fact that people who are endowed with the gene for baldness, when they start TRT, they have a lot of hair loss.
Do you think it has something to do with the fact that TRT, especially in the beginning when the body is getting used to it, they inject testosterone, maybe it's 100 milligram, maybe 200 milligram, usually less than 100, but they inject it once a week, all at once, which is not natural because your body is producing like only 5 to 7 milligram a day, and then you just inject 100 at once. So do you think it creates that shock that causes that shedding?
Yeah, I think this could be a reason, but androgens in high concentrations, and especially these unnatural androgens, will cause a lot of hair loss. I haven't done much work on this, but I have a lot of patients are coming to me with TRT now, and they benefit with Finasteride.
Are you seeing that Finasteride is helping guys who have never used it?
Finasteride is definitely helping people who are on TRT and have very aggressive hair loss.
Would you be a proponent of the maybe higher or approved dose of 1 milligram in that case to stabilize it?
That depends upon how much hair loss the patient has and how much Finasteride he can tolerate. It's not that 1 milligram for everybody. Some people might benefit with 0.5 milligram as well. But if he's having very aggressive hair loss, I would like to start with Finasteride daily and perhaps once a week dutasteride, and then scale it down.
Yeah, and then scale down to avoid potential side effects from it.
People on testosterone level, if it is optimally given, have very less side effects, sexual side effects, once the TRT starts to respond. Yeah.
They usually get above average testosterone levels or even exceptionally high testosterone levels, clearly higher than they had before, and that will make sure that all of the sexual function and libido is working well in the body despite using Finasteride.
It does definitely gives them boost in their libido, and Finasteride side effects in these patients are minimal.
Do you think that TRT might affect transplanted hair also?
TRT without Finasteride, I am sure it will affect transplanted hair as well. Yeah, it will. I mean, in the first 6 months, it is very important if you're on TRT to take Finasteride. All the more important if you're on TRT. Otherwise, a lot of hair might not grow. See, it's a myth that the hair at the back of the head and the sides is permanent. It is just a myth. It is a marketing gimmick. Nothing is permanent in your body. Your body itself is not permanent. How can hair be permanent? Every hair, even at the back of the head, has a receptor for DHT, and it responds to DHT if you have the baldness gene. That is why people have this aggressive form of baldness that is called diffuse pattern alopecia. So every hair has DHT receptors, and every hair is responsive to DHT if you carry the male pattern baldness gene. It is relatively permanent, not completely permanent. So in a scenario where you're on TRT without Finasteride and you plant hair, they are going to thin out like the rest of your hair with TRT.
Are you seeing it with some patients who are maybe not that not want to behave in a way that they would follow the protocols, and they want to do it their way, and they don't listen to your advice, and they are on TRT, they do a transplant, then stop Finasteride, and then you see them a couple of years later and the hair is visibly thinner?
Yes, increasingly there are clinics which, they are pandering to the patient's fears. They say that, you don't need to take Finasteride. Hair transplant, this is permanent hair, it'll survive. But that's, just seeking out patients so that the patient doesn't run away, and pandering to a patient's worst fears, and not wanting to lose a client. They also know that without finasteride, all the hair will not survive. Even if it grows out in 6 months, one year, it's going to fall out soon. That's why most clinics do not publish long-term results.
So if you get value out of this video, make sure you give it a thumb up, subscribe to the channel, and once the whole interview will be available to watch, I'm going to put it right here so you can watch the whole podcast. Until next time.